afternoon. It's not morning anymore. It's great to be with you. Who of you were here this morning? Okay, that's good news. Okay, there's a couple of hands. That's bad news for you. I was just worried that, a lot more hands go up, and I realized, I remember my dad was a pastor, and I heard his sermons 3 times, because he had 3 churches which rotate. I think by the 3rd time I used to listen. The first 2 you sort of but it's great to be with you. And as I said this morning, hopefully then if you hear it for the 2nd time, you'll remember a bit more. It's great to be, I said, hopefully next time I'm with you, that it'll be in the new church. So we're praying for you. And I looked at the picture, it looks really great. I don't know who designed it, but he really did a good job. And you want a church that you can be proud of. And I think that's going to be one of those. So Pastor Hall, please remember to invite me to the opening. Even if I'm just here, I just want to be here just to see. So if you can, that'll be great. And can I get that clicker? I think it went back to the back. Sorry, from this morning. Guys recording me, just get my best side, all right? And the guys with the voice, make my voice a little deeper, it'd be good. One has to be very careful what you put on the internet, because once it's there, it disappears. You can put my, there is a PowerPoint presentation on there. I think it's on that stick, yeah. It's called Awesome. Just Awesome there on the memory stick there. I'll put that on. While we're waiting, I'm just going to do quick promotions. We actually have some slides on there for you. Please follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and check out our website regularly. Northern Lights, website is northernlightsza.com, and pretty much everything, if you type in Northern Lights, you'll find us either on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. We launched Instagram, our Instagram account, we launched it at camp meeting, and in one day we had 40 new followers. We're up to 80, I don't know, every day is just getting new. And one of the main things we want to do with this, our biggest challenge is getting information across. A little while back, I sent out a communication from the conference. I sent it to 139 email addresses. How many responses do you think I got back? I got 22 responses back. So we're busy updating all our information because we do realize that, especially with youth leaders, the email addresses change, but with the social media, it just makes it easier to share a lot of information. So I think that didn't break. Oh, there we go. All right. That you will see a lot. That is our logo for Northern Lights. If you don't know what Northern Lights are, we now not the Transvaal Conference anymore. We're the Northern Conference, if you guys missed that. So thanks a lot, guys. We're the Northern Conference. And the Northern Conference Youth Department is called the Northern Lights. All right. One thing that we were actually quite excited about, we were at a camp, and they were doing something where they call young people up, from the audience and asking them where they're from. And they were saying, can we get a shout out for Bloemfontein and for the Free State and all these places? But now it's a bit of a challenge when you come to Gauteng and Mpumalanga. Because you go, I'm from Alberton. And everyone goes, where is that? The people in Joburg know where it is. Or you go from Sandton, they go, well, we got an idea. It's there close to Lenasia, something. So most people don't know where. And so one of the young people did something that he came up and said, where are you from? He said, I'm from the Northern Lights. And all the kids from Gauteng and Mpumalanga and Limpopo, all that, they all started cheering and clapping. And this is what we want to do, is because everyone is spread out, you sort of want to bring them under the one umbrella, and that's the Northern Lights. That is our theme text, also my scripture reading, is let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. And that's the whole idea of shining your light in a dark world. All right, let's go to the next one. That's our hashtag at the bottom, hashtag NLZA, Northern Lights ZA. That's our website, northernlightsza.com. And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also check out our website. A lot of good stuff on there, and we're continuing to put more on there. This morning I asked them on screen, who of you did walk the talk last year? Okay, there's a couple. That's great. Now, what we want to do with Walk the Talk is we actually put it on the youth calendar. And the reason for that is that we want the young people to walk together. I've got a picture there. That is Pastor Dave Spencer, our conference president, and Clifford Goldstein. He's the editor of our Sabbath School Quarterly. And they walked with us last year, and you'll see they were wearing Northern Lights, special Northern Lights t-shirts, specifically for Walk the Talk. And we want to get all the youth to walk together. With the t-shirts, it's always good for advertising, and it shows that we also care about the community. And I remember when I did that one, I was very sick. We just came back from Paris. I think we came back the previous day, and that was a bit of a rough of a walk, but we made it. So that is happening on the 26th of July. But please make sure that as soon as entries open, you have to enter yourself. All right, they go very quickly. Global Youth Day. Officially or globally, there's one Global Youth Day a year, which is on this year it was, I think, the 21st of March. In our conference, we have three. We have the official one, and then we have the other one is on the 18th of July, and the third one is the 5th of December. So make sure to do something great for Global Youth Day, and remember to download the app. The app is really great, and you get to share what you did with young people all over the world. We saw some photos where young people in Paris were busy doing something for Global Youth Day, and you see the Eiffel Tower in the background. You know, and you can share what you're doing here in your own town. You can share with people all over the world. So make sure to download the app. And then, maybe I'm using the wrong finger. There we go. This one's big news, and this one we need everyone's help. We are planning a web series, to record a web series. And for those of you who do not know what a web series is, ask the young people. They will tell you very quickly what it is. It's called The Seeker, and we're having auditions on the 24th of May. All right? We want to use our young people as actors. We want to use them as extras. We want to, not just young people, anyone that's wanting to join, please come on the 24th. It's going to be at 11 o'clock at the conference office. And come and do an audition, even if you might think that you don't have talent. What's the word? Don't limit the Lord. He can use anyone. So come there. Come and you know, just come for an audition, and we want to use you because this series, what we want you to do, just a quick background on it. This series is telling this, the story about the seeker is a young journalist who wants to know what is the big hype about the crucifixion. So he does interviews with various people like Mary Magdalene, with Peter, with John, also with Nicodemus, also with Caiaphas and Pontius Pilate, all done in a modern setting, of course. They're not going to wear dresses, you know, the guys. They're not going to wear those things. And in this process, he actually learns a lot about God that he wouldn't. And what we want to do is this, again, will be a tool for young people to use because they can invite their friends to watch it with them. And with every episode, there will be a download for Bible study specific to that episode. So that's what we want to try and do. So, but again, we don't want to pay people. We don't want to get professional actors. We want to use young people with a passion for the Lord's work. So 24th of May at the conference offices at 11 o'clock. Don't miss that one. All right. My sermon is not just for young people. It's for everyone. Because what I find a lot of times happening is the young people and the older people don't understand each other quite 100%. There's always a bit of a frustration, a bit of a conflict, a bit of a friction there. And it's important, the young people cannot finish the work by themselves. They need experience and guidance to help them. I remember once we went out to hand out DVDs. It was like a flea market setup. So we hand out DVDs. Man, did I battle to hand out my pack of DVDs. You know, because every time I give out the DVD, the person says, "What's that? Who are you?" Now, so we're trying, you know, I'm trying. The young people come and they're going, "We're done with our packs, give more." Okay, here's more. And they come back. 10 minutes later, they come back. Why? because they just move a lot quicker. And when people see them, they're going, these people are not at all scary. So, yeah, no, and they're cute. So we'll take from the kids. And then I realized you can't just have young people working separate to the older people. You need to work together. The young people have the energy and the drive, and they're not scared of anything. And that we need. The older people, again, have the experience and the support. And then when those two work together, you're going to have a force to be reckoned with. So this is not just a sermon for young people, it's also for old people. Just to understand each other and realize we grew up or we are busy growing up in very different worlds. To give you an idea, a couple of years back, if a young person there on the screen said, Mom, I'm going to play football, it meant I'm going to take the soccer ball and I'm going to kick it. All right. These days, if I'm playing football, I might be in my room playing on the PS2 or 3 or 4, whenever it's going to end, or the Xbox. In the olden days, the people were thin and the TVs were fat. And now the TVs are thin and the people are fat. Right? Pretty soon, this is how we're going to teach young people to drive. Going, that's the pause, that's the stop, and that's the play. You guys all remember some of these things. There's a television, there's a diary with paper, there's a camera. Remember the one on the left is a CD man. You guys remember the CD man? It was after the Walkman. But now the CD man was very smart, but you had to keep it still. You couldn't actually walk with it, but you would listen to it. It was very nice. There you've got a walkie-talkie, you've got a pager, and a computer, obviously. And then inside you've got the entire Encyclopedia Britannica. Okay. Now, that all you get in a phone today. And better. And to give you an idea, I remember when we were young, if you read something in a book, it was usually true. If you saw it on the TV, okay, the guy's taking a chance. Now, these days, if I read something in a book and I tell my friend, listen, I read that it's blue, you go, wait, I'm going to Google it. And Google has even become a verb. It's in the dictionary now. Okay, that's how huge it's been, how big it is, and how it's been growing. And all of a sudden now, your information is just, there's so much more information right at your fingertips. The other day I had a problem, I can't remember what it was. I think it was something to do with computer programs or something. And I Googled the problem. And all of a sudden, by the end of the day, I was talking to someone in Russia. And that guy was helping me with my problem here in South Africa. And that just shows you how this whole thing just exploded. And the information that we have is so much more than we had a couple of years back. I remember also just when I had to do an assignment for school. That was a mission. I had to go to the library, take out a book, maybe photocopy a couple of pages, and then write it, write it out and the whole thing. And to put pictures in was a mission. Usually the pictures, if you're lucky, was black and white. These days, with the computers and the internet and everything, I wish I could do some projects at school now. Wow, I would get much better marks this day. Just because there's so much more information and just photos, also the photos. Other thing that's also just gone crazy is the social media. And again, if you don't know what those pictures mean, ask the young people. They will tell you very quickly what it means, because they know it, they use it, and it's become part of your day-to-day. We encourage a lot of churches, and I hear you also have a SMS line, which is great. We encourage a lot of churches to create a WhatsApp group, just to stay in touch. And it's so easy to stay in touch these days. The social media has also changed the way we do a lot of things. A lot of young people meet other young people on the social media. So they meet them and they start talking. And by the time, they don't meet them face to face, they meet them on cyberspace. And by the time they get to speak to them, all of a sudden they know a lot more than what we used to do in the past. In the past, we did not have the SMSs. In the past, you meet someone face to face, you actually have to go and speak to the girl, okay? And then, I remember when, and the worst was, before cell phones, we had landlines. Now you want to speak to your girlfriend. Now the landline, the telephone, is in the living room. And you have to phone after 7 because it's cheaper. And while you're talking, every now and again, your mom comes and says, finish up, time. You know, it was very different. Now you can have such better conversations. The other day, there was at the one radio station, they had a competition, and they had an amount of money to give away, and you had to phone in and motivate why you should get the money. And this young person phoned in and said, listen, I met a girl on Instagram. Okay, Instagram is one of those apps. I met a girl on Instagram, and she's from Europe. And she's coming to visit me, so I need some money to show her around, you know. And everyone was laughing, but I thought to myself, a couple of years back, this was not possible. The only other way to communicate with someone in Europe may be with either a pen and paper, and that takes forever. You know, now all of a sudden he meets her, and she's coming to see him. She's not coming to see South Africa, she's coming to visit him. And I'd love to follow the story, and can you imagine them eventually getting married? How do we meet? We met on Instagram. Now, if you tell that to your grandparents, they're going, where was this Instagram? You know, where did you meet? And this is the way things are changing. Another one times are very different now is schools, okay? I remember when we were young, and we had a parent-teachers evening, me and my brother would be worried. We would be praying while my parents are away. Because if they got a bad report about us from my teachers, we were in trouble. Big trouble. Now, these days, one of my friends, she's a teacher, she says parent-teacher evenings are the worst. The parents come there to fight with the teachers. And they say to the teachers, why is my kid not passing? Why are you not making sure my kid passes? Then the poor teacher has to say to him, well, he doesn't do his homework, he doesn't listen to me, he talks in class. And then they go, oh, okay. But they don't go back and tell their kid, listen, you better pull up your socks. No, my boy's fine. It's the teacher's fault. A lot of things happen. On the social media, young people, be careful of what you take pictures. Be careful of who you take pictures of. Be careful what you do with those pictures. All right? I remember in the olden days, you had one camera in the family, and you had to develop the film. So you made sure. And you didn't just take pictures. These days, the cell phones are amazing. They just take hundreds of pictures like it's nothing. But be careful. This guy over there, he's busy being chased by a bull, and he decides this is a good time for a photo. Good luck for him. Also, this boy and girl, the person looking into the window is a police officer. Now, you can imagine the police officer already not happy, and they taking a selfie. What's he going to do? All right? And then that's Barack Obama. And he's busy taking a selfie with the Prime Minister of Sweden. All right, his wife is on his left side. Husbands, you know that look the wife gives you. That was the look. The next picture, I didn't have it bring it. The next picture, they swapped seats. Okay. So, but be careful. Young people, be careful what you post. Be careful what you take pictures of. Be careful what you say. Because once it's out there, it's out there. And you must be so careful. A lot of the young people, and this is the challenge we have with cell phones. I remember, I mustn't give my age away now, but I remember getting my first cell phone when I was in university already. And then it was even though black and white screen. But by then, you've learned to distinguish a lot easier and a lot better what is right and wrong. These days, if you give a young person, and I'm talking young, I'm talking kids 10 years old get smartphones. They get that, all of a sudden, internet, everything, with all the bells and whistles, and that 10-year-old has not learned all these things yet. So there's a huge problem at the moment that a lot of young people get into big trouble because they post and they put private information out on the internet and other people get it. So you've got to be very careful, and you need to, and if you have a child and he says, Mom, Dad, I want a cell phone, and you know he's going to get a cell phone, talk to him about it. You know, don't just give him a cell phone and say, well, there we go. The cell phones can be very dangerous. They're very powerful weapons. All right, and gentlemen, guys, if you take a girl out on a date, you know, make sure not to be on the cell phone. You need to be focused on her, not on your texts, okay? All right. This is also a very interesting phenomenon. And the best is all those kids are talking to each other, you know. And this is important to realize. This is the world we're living in, and it's not going to change back to what it was. I remember when I was young, at break times at school, we would play sports. Someone would either bring a soccer ball or a rugby ball. We would run around. There was always running and shouting. The other day I was at a school ground, and it was quiet. No balls being kicked. Everyone was sitting in groups on their cell phones talking to each other. It's quiet. It was the weirdest thing. And this is the problem. So be careful about this. 3,339 is the average amount of text a teen sends per month, okay, in America. And I don't think we're far off. So that shows you how engaged they are with their friends. I remember if I wanted to speak to my friend, I would have to go to his house or maybe phone him. These days, they don't have to. It's just you speak to the friends, you speak to everyone whenever you want. It doesn't end. Something has also changed quite a bit. Let's use this hand. There we go. Oh, just for fun, this is, they say, how do you look in your bathing suit? This is from the 1960s, I think. It says skinny. Thousands gain to 25 pounds the quick and easy way. Because in those days, it was different. Those days, they were going, if you're too skinny, that's not good. You need to have a bit of plump. And today, if you look at it, everything is completely the opposite. You know, it's how to lose 25 pounds. You need to lose it. Because you don't look good if you are not skinny. I always tell this to the ladies, don't look at the magazine covers. The magazine covers, those women have been, with good word, photoshopped so much. They speak to some of the models on the covers. And the models on the covers say a lot of times, once they're done with the Photoshop, I don't even recognize myself. Okay? That thing is amazing. I actually saw them play around with some of it. And they look at the picture. It's a pretty picture, pretty girl. And they go, no, her eyes are too small. Let's make her eyes bigger. The program makes her eyes bigger. She goes, her arm's too short. Let's make her arm longer. Everything until it's there. They put it on the cover. And then they say to the woman, you need to look like this. No, guys, And also, guys, don't go there and going, I want a woman that looks like that on the cover. Good luck. Not working. Television has changed. I don't know if you guys remember these shows. Who's the Boss and the Golden Girls? And I see people smiling. These days, we have these guys. A lot of reality shows. Then the left is one of the Jonas Brothers. At the bottom is another show, What Would Ryan Lochte Do? Where if I want to get my wife really upset, I put that on the TV and just leave it. Just 5 minutes and she's upset. And of course, the one very big one that's still going is Keeping Up with the Kardashians, right? Now these are, TV has also changed. We've got a huge amount of reality shows. And the reality shows, the cameras literally go into people's houses and you see a part of them you've never seen before. But the sad thing is, the reality shows that do the best are the ones with the most drama in them. There's lying, there's fighting, and all that. And I always ask myself a question, if I had cameras in my house, not in front here like I've got now, where I'm all suited up and I know exactly what I'm going to say, but behind doors, will people want to watch it? Will people go, guys, Jaco's program's on, there's going to be a fight again today, you know? Or what will my reality show be like, and what should it be like? But be careful. These guys, they cause drama, and they become famous for it. All right. Another thing that's changed is music. All right. The top verse is done by Frank Sinatra. I'm going to read that. Listen to this. It's nearly poetry. It says, with each word your tenderness grows, tearing my fear apart, and that laugh that wrinkles your nose, it touches my foolish heart. Isn't that beautiful? Now look at the guy at the bottom. And it's like, and I was like, baby, 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 no. And it just repeats it. I'm not going to sing the whole thing. Thank heavens. But music has changed. And I remember my dad saying, he says, the music of today is not music. He says it's the noise, you know. And the music has changed. The whole world is changing very fast. And what's amazing is, especially today, you can be famous for being famous. Those guys of old, they had to work at their fame and at their money. These days, a lot of artists, they get 1 or 2 songs, they cause a lot of drama, and all of a sudden everyone wants a piece of them. So even the music has changed. And what we would love is to have, happy families. But unfortunately, that has also changed. Families today, we have something more like this, where you've got the family, when they get together, it's problems. Parents are fighting. You got the parents are fighting with the kids are fighting with the parents. And just in general, when we look at the whole world, it's just upside down. Things aren't fitting in where it used to. So guys, I'll have these pictures for you available also for download some other time. Now this is the challenge that we have. We have a lot of people saying, I still remember when. And we got a lot of young people going, huh? Recently, young people will know who I'm speaking about. Recently, Kanye West and Rihanna did a song with Paul McCartney. Right? A lot of the young people are going, who's that guy? Paul McCartney was playing the guitar. Who's that old guy playing the guitar? He's quite good, hey? Kanye West and Rihanna, they just launched his career for him, And the older people are going, that's a legend, you have no idea where it came from. And this is the challenge that we have, and now the big challenge is now we need to get together and spread the gospel. And it's not always easy. Here's a beautiful quote. Ellen White says, the religion of Christ does not require us to lose our identity of character, but merely to adapt ourselves in some measure to the feelings and ways of others. There are scarcely two whose experiences is alike in every particular. And that's true. None of us have the same experience, and that's what the Lord needs. He loves diversity, because diversity just reaches so many more people with the truth. Now, here we go. And let's try the other hand. There we go. I put this up. This is sometimes what I think the young people feel the church expects of them. They have to be good Adventist boys and girls. Okay? In other words, we have to smile all the time, and we have to walk around with the Bible under our arm. All right. So a lot of times, young people go, Pastor, it's difficult. I don't see myself like that. I really battle. I'm always sitting at the back there. I'm never up in front. And a lot of the times, I have more in common with these guys. I feel more at home with them. And this is also the other challenge that we have, is what do we expect? Once someone gave a list of qualities of a good church member. And he said he comes to church regularly. He pays tithe, and he serves on one or two more committees. And then the question was, is that a good Christian? So now as a pastor, you're going, that would be good if we do have that in the church. That makes it a lot easier. But that doesn't necessarily mean that person is a good Christian. That person might be good and look and say all the right things and do all the right things in front here, but when he goes home, different story. And the same with a lot of the young people see this and they're going, but I don't want to be like that, And it's a big challenge that we are facing. However, one thing I always ask the question is, when Jesus came to earth, and he needed people to help him, where did he go first? Did he go to these guys, the Pharisees? He didn't go to the Pharisees. He went, there we go. He went to the fishermen, the tax collectors. If you look at Jesus' group of people, his disciples he had with him, we wouldn't necessarily have picked those for him. If Jesus comes here, we'd okay, and says he needs people to help him. We would say, okay, well, we've got a head elder, and the elders, we'd put them on display first. But yet Jesus didn't. Jesus said, no. I need specific people. And Jesus went to each of these, and he called them personally. And he said, I need you to help me. And what was sad is the Pharisees, they actually gave Jesus a lot of trouble. And the Pharisees were the church leaders. So now it's very easy for me to look back and say, oh, those Pharisees, how could they do that? But if Jesus was on earth today working in Johannesburg, I would be a church leader. What would I be doing? I shared this morning. I shared it at the ADCOM. I said, if Jesus was in Johannesburg working, I can guarantee you on the AdCom and on the XCom, one of the main agenda items would be Jesus. Going, guys, we need to discuss this because he's doing things differently. He's doing things a bit radical. We don't know what to do. That would have been the thing. And it's very easy for me to look back and say, oh, those Pharisees, why couldn't they just work with Jesus? But if I was there, what plot would I have played? Would I be one of Jesus' followers, or would I have opposed him? And this is so important for us. Do you all know WhatsApp? Guys all use WhatsApp. I know WhatsApp is great. Even one of my friends, she says, even her grandma is on WhatsApp. And she's using the text language, so she loves it. She chats with her grandma all day. And recently, Facebook bought WhatsApp. And who can tell me how much they paid for WhatsApp? Facebook paid $32 billion for WhatsApp. That's a lot of money. Now, dollars, not rands. And now the question is, why would they pay so much for a program like that? It's because they know how much it's worth. And now I ask myself the question, how much did Jesus pay for me? He paid everything. Why did he do that? He said, because he knew how much I am worth to him. He didn't just pay money, or he gave his life for me, just to tell me, this is how much I think you're worth. And Satan is trying to tell us everything else. Satan is trying to tell us you're worth nothing. You know, Satan is, and this is, unfortunately, the world media is telling you that. It's going, if you don't have money, you're no one. If you don't have fame, you're no one. If you don't look like these guys in the men's magazines, you know, that walk like this because their muscles are just in the way, you're worth nothing. Guys, please, with the muscles, remember this. If you've got the muscles, that's great. But if you don't have the muscles, that's also fine, right? I remember a lot of my girlfriends, they would say, I would ask them, no. Friends that are girls, let's just sort that out there. I would ask them many times, going, so do you think this guy's hot? You know, these guys with the six-pack. And they're going, yeah. So going, but look at him. I mean, look at him. You know, they're going, yeah. Going, what's the problem? You know, I mean, don't you want a guy with six-pack? And they said, yeah, okay. So I said, what's the deal? They said, you know what? When I see him, he looks nice. But in the back of my mind, there's a question. How much time is he going to spend on me? And how much time is he going to spend on himself? And we actually had one of our friends, she went to visit another guy, and he was very fit. He was doing CrossFit and all kinds of fit things. And she went, and he was in Switzerland. So she went to visit him there. And you know what? She was there, and the one morning he said to her, okay, well, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to see you in 4 hours. And I thought, how can this guy do this? She came all the way from South Africa to Switzerland to see him, and he's going to the gym. No. And that was it. After that, it was done. You know, she's like, I'm done with this guy. It doesn't matter how good looking he is, I'm done with him. But this is the thing. Your worth, don't let the media give you your worth. Don't let Satan try and say to you how much you are worth. You are worth a lot more than you realize, because Jesus said, I paid everything for you because you are worth it. So, and I'd like to give us a concept today that I'd like you to just think about. And that is, you know, what the Lord needs us to be, or what he does. A lot of young people say, what does the Lord want from me? And that's a difficult question. You know, and some grown-ups might not even have the answer. What does the Lord want from me? And I'm going to give you an option today. It's not necessarily the right or the wrong one, but it's an option. And that is, the Lord wants us to be awesome. Okay. Now, what does awesome mean? We'll get back to awesome. This is the definition. It says, extremely impressive or daunting, inspiring awe, the awesome power of the atomic bomb. The synonyms are breathtaking, amazing, stunning, astounding, astonishing, awe-inspiring, stupendous, staggering, extraordinary, incredible, unbelievable, extremely good, excellent. And you know why I'm saying this? I'm saying because why can't we be? Jesus says to us, I'm the way and the truth and the life. And I guarantee you, if you make Jesus the center of your life, it'll be, you will be surprised at how awesome you can be. And you know why? It's just because when other people look at us, what do they see? Do they see a group of people coming together and doing funny things? You know, they don't eat pork. They worship on the Sabbath. Is that what the people see? Or do they see us and say, those people are something special? I was there at their church. I've never seen such friendly people in my life. And the food, even though there was no meat in it, it was good. I was surprised. And all the ladies tried to feed me. And what do the people see? I once had a phone call. It was late at night. The guy phoned me. He said, are you the pastor of the Seventh-day Adventist Church? I said, I am a pastor of a Seventh-day Adventist church. How can I help you? He said, I'd like you to just do an ad for me in your church. So I said, okay, ad for what? He said, I need a chauffeur, a driver for my wife and child. And it was explaining to me the hours this guy would work and the pay and everything. And I could quickly pick up this guy is a very powerful, powerful businessman. And I said, sure, I'll do the advert for you. And I said, but may I ask why you phoned me? Because I'm a pastor, and part of our job description is not to do ads for a recruiting company. And he said to me the following, he said, you know what? Once I had a secretary that worked for me. She was a Seventh-day Adventist. She's not working for anymore. But after she worked for me, I only want Seventh-day Adventists to work for me. And I thought to myself, you know what? That secretary, she was awesome. Whatever she did, that person realized that there's something different, something special about this person. And he said, I want more of that. And I thought to myself, if wherever we go, if we make Christ first, and in our texts that we send, in our photos that we post, in what we say on Facebook, and make him center, the people look at this going, I'm hoping I get a text from Jaco because that text just always brightens up my day. Or we can use it for gossiping and saying bad things about each other and putting inappropriate things on the internet. And you know what they'll say? It's like, oh yeah, these guys, they say they are Christians. However, what they say and what I see on their social media is two different things. But when we use it, when we show the people how amazing our God is and what he's done in our lives, the other people will see this and say, man, I want that too. Because I need something more. I'm not being able to fill this hole in my life. I need something more. And I think that you have what I'm looking for. Now, a lot of times to young people, this is always a challenge. They say to me, I really want to, but my emotions get in the way. I asked this morning, no hands went up, let's ask again. Who's got teen kids? Mind you, maybe the kids will be here, so if they're here, don't put up your hand again for the next one. But do they ever wake up every morning smiling? It's difficult. Growing up is difficult. It's not easy. You go through so many things. And again, just remember what I said in the beginning of my sermon. All those influences are there. It's not just me. A lot of times where if I speak to my grandparents and even my parents, life was simple. It was you work on the farm. Once you're done, you go out into nature and you just enjoy and you do whatever you want. These days, it's a whole different story. These days, and especially in the city, Joburg is a rough city. It doesn't matter what you say, how you say it, it's a rough city. Every time we're in America, the people ask us and say, listen, what's Joburg like? And I start telling them, and the eyes just go this big. And this is the challenge that we have. So now with the young people, especially when the emotions come in, I'm just going to do one story, because I had a couple more, but I'm just going to do one story. The lady that was caught in adultery. And this is always actually a sad story. It's got a good ending, but a very sad story, because how many people do you need for adultery? 2. Okay. Usually a man and a woman. Now, how many people did they bring to Jesus, which they caught in the act? 1. Now, catching someone in the act, what does that mean? That means I'm watching. I know what's going to happen. I'm watching. Goes in. Wait about a couple of minutes. Okay, guys, now we caught her. And who brought her to Jesus? The church people. Shouldn't the church person go there and going, ma'am, I know what's going to happen. Don't. Please, let's go have some Bible studies or something. Just take her away. But they didn't. They left her, and they knew what was happening, and they catch her, and they drag her, and they throw her right at the feet of Jesus. Where was Jesus when this woman was brought to him? He was at the temple. He was at the temple. He was at church. So they bring this woman, the church leaders bring this woman to be stoned at the church. How? That's not right. That's just not right. It's so cruel, actually, because they're supposed to be there to help this woman and to encourage them to stop their ways of their wicked ways. But yet they bring her and they put it there. They've got the stones. I wonder where they got them, because the temple there was no stones at the temple, but they've got the stones. And they say to Jesus, "We caught this woman. What do you say we should do with her?" Now they know, we got Jesus. Now they're very happy with themselves. First they lied. They entrapped the woman, and they brought her to be stoned right at the temple. But they're happy with themselves. It was a good church board meeting they had earlier. Everything went as planned. What does Jesus do? Jesus, first of all, he says, and this is difficult. We know with the xenophobia, we see what a mob can do. A mob is very dangerous, and there's a mob right there. Jesus doesn't say anything. He bends down and he writes in the sand. And once they're saying, "Come on, Jesus, tell us what to do." And he gets up and he says to them, "He who is without sin cast the first stone." But when Jesus said that, did he move away from the woman? He stayed right there. And he bent down again right next to her, keep on writing in the sand. So if someone had to start throwing a stone, everyone would throw stones, and Jesus might also be hit with the stones. But you know what? Jesus says, "This is one of my children right here. And I'm not going to move one step away from her because she needs me." And if you look at emotions and challenges you have growing up, this woman had all of them. But you know what? When Jesus came into her life, when she allowed Jesus to be part of her life, all of a sudden those emotions calmed down. Brothers and sisters, if you battle, and it's not just young people battling with emotional challenges, allow Jesus to come into your heart and just calm those emotions down. Because Jesus says, "I'm the way and the truth and life." And he calmed the storms with the disciples in the boat, and he can calm the storms in my heart with ease. Allow him to do that. Brothers and sisters, Jesus needs us. He needs us to be awesome. Satan is trying to tell us how bad we are, trying to tell us that we can't do anything. And Jesus is trying to say, "No, I paid everything because I know how much you're worth to me. And because I think you're awesome, you can do so many great things." And let the Lord use you. Allow him to use you to be awesome, to let your light shine in a dark world, so that they see your good works and glorify your Father, which is in heaven. I'm going to end off with a story. There was a young man and a young girl. They were dating. They weren't going to any church per se, not religious at all. And they slept together, and she became pregnant. Now they had a problem because they weren't planning on marriage. But now, there's a problem. So they talked about it, and they thought that the best plan would be for her to go to the clinic to get an abortion. And she wasn't very happy about this, but, what do you do? So she went to the clinic, and as she walked into the clinic, there was other young people there too, young ladies, which we would have referred to as prostitutes. And as she walked in, they saw her, and she didn't dress like them. So immediately they spotted she's different, and they asked her, "What are you doing here?" So she tells them the story and says, "Well, I'm here for the same reason you are." And they say to her, "Nope, sorry, you need to leave." She says, "But what must I do? This is the only plan we could think of." Listen to what this, as we would refer to them, prostitutes, tell her. She says, "Go from here, go to a church with 3 ABN, they'll know what to do. Go." And they literally chased her out of the clinic. She went to her boyfriend. She said, "Listen, this is what happened. I'm not going back to that clinic. They're going to chase me out again. So let's try it." They find a church for 3 ABN, which is obviously Seventh-day Adventist church. They probably looked for the big dish next to the church. And after the sermon, they spoke to the pastor, told him what happened. And you know what? The pastor got them together, did marriage counseling, married them. They had the baby. And both of them were baptized not too long ago. Now, brothers and sisters, if the Lord can use a lady that we would refer to as a prostitute, why can't he use me and you? He can use anyone that's able and willing to say, Lord, I'm here. I want to be a shining light for you out there. Young people, make sure what you do, what you say, what you post, your interactions with your friend, make sure it is awesome. Older people, make sure that your example, your experience, your example that you show to the young people is awesome. That they can look up to you and going, that uncle over there, he really helped me a lot. That auntie over there, she really helped me a lot. Brothers and sisters, we have the opportunity to be awesome, but only if we make God the center of everything, not just here at church, but at our work and where we play and where we interact with our friends, at school, at university, wherever, to say, the Lord is number one and I'm following Him. And you will be surprised what people see in you. They'll see you and going, there's something special and I want more of that. Let us go out and let our light shine in a dark world.